This week, Shirley Koch had a change of plea hearing in federal court. She and her daughter, Megan Hess, are accused of selling bodies and body parts from Sunset Mesa Funeral Home in Montrose. Last week, Hess pleaded guilty, and Tuesday, our Michael Lagerwell was at Koch's hearing where he talked to families still devastated by the crimes. He now joins us in the studio with more details. Michael.
Thanks, Rob. Yesterday, Shirley Koch changed her plea from not guilty to guilty. She faces mail fraud charges which carry a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. In the courthouse yesterday, I met with victims of the Sunset Mesa Funeral Home after they watched the hearing. A few addressed the court sharing their stories, and afterwards they talked to me about how this specific case shattered their lives.
My father was stolen and sold by Sunset Mesa Funeral Home.
It's hard to imagine, but Judy Kressler is one of hundreds of victims Shirley Koch and Megan Hess left in their wake. Kressler watched the hearing along with Deborah Shroom and Chrissy Hartman, who also had departed loved ones literally stolen.
When everything first came out, we were like, no way, she was too nice. We couldn't, it was hard for us to believe. And then my father got the phone call from the FBI that we found out my mother was sold as a full body.
The FBI raided Sunset Mesa Funeral Home in 2018. Victims like Chrissy Hartman, who lost her mother, say what they found was devastating.
We felt like she died all over again, only it was worse. It was 2018 when we were informed. She died in 2013. We were just finally getting to a place in our lives where we could talk about her and share the stories with laughter instead of tears.
Judy Kressler told me she had suspicions way back in 2016 and even reported it to the Department of Regulatory Agencies in Colorado, but nothing came of it.
They did absolutely nothing with my complaint and my suspicions for 2 years until the FBI raid in February of 18. Now
in 2022, 4 years have passed since the FBI raid. The raid uncovered a litany of horrific practices and greed. Both Hess and Koch have pleaded guilty, but for victims, this painful experience isn't over yet. The women still have sentencing hearings ahead, and the families say they'll be there.
They're not remorseful for their crimes. They made that very clear. In fact, last week, Megan Hess called this a legal travesty.
Many victims have no idea where their family members are now. And one victim told me when her father died more recently, she was so traumatized by the experience, she had to check to make sure her father was actually in the casket before they buried him. I'll be taking a closer look at it and investigating how this story unfolded. We'll keep you posted. First on the Western Slope.